Welcome to the Veterinary Rehabilitation Podcast, where we aim to help fellow veterinary rehab therapists increase their knowledge and elevate their practice. I'm Megan Kelly.
And I'm Anae Lloyd. Together, we bring you the latest insights, research, and information in the field of veterinary rehabilitation.
This podcast is brought to you by Onlinepethealth, a leading continuing education membership for veterinary rehabilitation therapists. With Onlinepethealth, you will have access to a wide range of online resources to help you stay up to date with the latest techniques, advances, and trends in the industry.
Our podcast features in-depth conversations with leading experts in veterinary rehabilitation. They share their own experiences and knowledge to help you improve your practice. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out in the field, our goal is to provide you with the tools and the insights you need to succeed.
So join us as we explore the exciting world of veterinary rehabilitation and help you take your practice to the next level. Hey vet rehabbers, in this episode I chat with Jodie about her decision to downsize her veterinary rehabilitation practice and move it to her own home. We talk about why she made the change, how it helped her reduce her overheads, and the challenges she faced along the way. Moving her practice meant completely changing her client base. While many loyal clients did make the move with her, others simply couldn't travel the extra distance. Jodie shares what that transition looked like, how she rebuilt her caseload, and the lessons she learned throughout the process. We also discuss what it's really like working from home, how she creates boundaries between work and family life, and why, despite the challenges, she wouldn't have it any other way. So if you've ever wondered whether a home-based rehabilitation practice could work for you, this conversation is full of honest insights and practical advice. Now, if you're someone who likes to keep learning, our free webinar area has some fantastic webinars you can access right now. The Small Animal section, Common Injuries in Sporting Dogs by Ariel Pachette-Markley. In the Equine section, Step by Step, Building Equine Strength and Performance by Emma Maitland. And in the Hydrotherapy section, Parameters for the Development of Patient Protocols by Angela Griffiths. So you can head over to onlinepethealth.com/free to sign up for any of those webinars. Quick, a word from our sponsors. Support, prevents, and rehabilitates. That's the Paw Prosper way. We've built a portfolio of industry-leading brands like Walking Pets, Help 'em Up, Aspana Animal Therapeutics, Fit Paws, and Blue Nine to give your patients the gold standard in care. And we have some big news. Paw Prosper is officially the new home of the Canine Rehabilitation Institute and Online Pet Health. We're bringing the best products and the best online education together under one roof to help you and your patients thrive. As a special hello to the Online Pet Health community, we're offering a one-time gift with your next order when you sign up today. So you can head over to pawprosper.com/OPH and join the movement in pet rehabilitation. Hey Jodie, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
For the listeners, won't you tell them a little bit about yourself and how you got into the field of vet rehab?
I was a human physiotherapist for 10 years, but when I first did physiotherapy, the aim was to do animals when I heard about animal physio many, many years ago. It did take me a while to transition over because I actually quite enjoyed the human work. But in about 2007, I decided that was it. I'm going to do it. And I started my master's in animal physio then. So it was always initially I wanted to be a vet years ago. That as a kid, that was what I wanted to do, but I didn't think I could cope with euthanasia because I'm a bit soft. And then when I did human physio, I just love the whole physicality of it, that we can make such a difference with rehab.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into it, basically.
All right. And now you have your own practice. So tell us about that.
Yes, I do. Yes. So I've got ARC Animal Rehabilitation Centre, and we're on the Mornington Peninsula. I originally was in Mornington. I rented a factory for 10 years, and I've just recently moved the business home, which is much less stress because I'm on a 5-acre property. So it's lovely because I've got my horses here and dogs and everything. So I did that, just over 12 months ago. So I'm really happy with that decision. It's going really well. It's obviously a change of we've gone from Mornington Peninsula to further along the peninsula. So people were like, you're not going to make it out there. It's too far out. But we've got a whole new demographic, basically. So it's actually going well. It's smaller than the last one, and we did sell quite a lot of product at the last clinic because it was on a very busy road. So that part of it has reduced, but I was very happy to reduce a little bit. It was getting a little crazy.
Yeah. Let's chat about that decision because I mean, I've actually, if I think back to my practice, so I also moved my practice a few times, and but I can remember when it was like really busy, like you say, like crazy
Yes.
busy, and just
Yes.
also had a shop and people coming in and out, and
Mhm.
there was just so much on the go. And
Yeah.
then I downscaled. And the crazy thing is when I downscaled, it didn't actually change the profit of the business. So the profit actually probably actually increased because I
Yeah.
had so many people I needed to employ and so many people to manage.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'd started off small, and then you sort of feel that the progression has to be get bigger, get more people,
Mm.
increase your
Yeah.
space. And you, well, I did. I thought that
Yeah.
that's what you have to do. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I remember at one stage just longing to go back to when we were small, when it was just
Yeah.
me and one
Yeah.
therapist who was my receptionist, and when I didn't
Yeah.
have the shop and all the people
Yeah.
coming in
Yeah.
and you know what I mean? So, and
Yeah.
I just longed for that.
Mm.
And then when I had
Mm.
my second child, I had scaled just before I thought, okay, I'm going to scale back and try and see whether I can do this
Yeah.
like on a lower level. And it was so much better. So I think
Yes.
the big
Yeah.
practice is not necessary for everyone. So I think that there
No.
are some people that thrive and absolutely love that and have the big
Yeah.
practice, and multiple therapists and hydrotherapists and two
Mm.
treadmills and but not for everyone. So yeah, let's chat
No.
about that
Yeah.
decision that you made. And did you have a
Yeah.
similar experience to mine?
Yeah, I did. It was we had a 350 square meter factory, so it was huge. So I built consult rooms, we had a gym, we had a pool, and we had a treadmill. Then I bought another treadmill, and it was multiple staff, and the rent was ridiculous.
Mm.
And I just for me it was stress. It was
Yeah.
stressful, and I felt like I lost that quality of care. I didn't
Mm.
know everybody that walked in. And I was so used to knowing everybody and every dog that walked in. And then I felt like I lost track of
Yeah.
some of my clients that I didn't get to see them and know what was going on, where they were at with their rehab. Some disappeared. I like to know, I mean, I'm not a control freak, but I do like to know what's going on, and to know that everyone's getting the best possible care. And I think a lot of that's about feedback too that you get from people. I like to get feedback from people and to be knowing that we're doing a good job. And now it's at home. I've just got two treatment rooms, one human, one canine. I treat the horses outside, of course. And we got a beautiful little space, one treadmill, a gym, and I love it. And just coming to a country area too, as opposed to a very busy place and no parking issues or anything, it's just nicer. And we haven't got clients complaining about parking and that all the time, which is another issue we had, because it was just a very, very busy area, especially during the peak hour. And now everyone's very relaxed when they come here, so it's great.
So how did you handle the staff? Because you obviously didn't need to take everyone. It
Yeah,
must have been tricky.
we'd had a few changing staff anyway. Physios, I find it quite hard to hang on to because they want to do their own thing. Um, so I thought it was a great opportunity to do it. I had one other physiotherapist working with me, and then she decided to do her own thing. So I was like, okay, now's the perfect opportunity. I did have to scale down with a couple of vet nurses. But I've got a couple of girls I've had for years and they're just amazing. And they came with me, of course. But one of them's doing vet science at the moment, so she's only working once a fortnight or so. But it's a bit further for them to drive, of course, but it's only, a matter of a 20-minute difference in time. So it's worked out really well for those staff that have come along. Um, so yeah, that was the only hard part when I was thinking about downsizing, was thinking about your staff. But it all worked out pretty well because a lot of the staff, some moved, were moving anyway. So it actually worked really, really, I was very, very lucky with how it worked out. And the other girls came with me. So yeah.
And how did your clients take it?
We lost a few because there was a closer practice, but a lot of them have now come back. So that's been really good. So I've been really happy with that. There was, yeah, you're always going to lose some. I think that's just a normal thing. But as I said, we just gained so many more. And we go all the way out to the Gippsland area. So we do a large range of areas. And we're getting referrals for up to, the other day we had someone come from 2 hours away.
Okay.
So I think if you've got that word of mouth thing happening and you've got people saying good things about you, it doesn't really matter where you are. I've decided. I was really nervous when I moved, being so far up the end of the peninsula. Like there's not much else except a few suburbs and then you're on at the water. And that's about it. But it's actually worked out really, really well. And clients have coped with it because some of them it's closer for.
Yeah.
So,
And
it's
like you
really
say,
good.
you've got a whole, you can get a whole new clientele.
Yes, you can. Yes. And the vets up here have been very, very good for what we're doing and coming on board with referring dogs for rehab. Actually, we're getting more referrals up here than we ever got at Mornington. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
It just depends on the vets where they are and what their beliefs are. But up here, it's been
Yeah.
great.
And I also think further out, you
Mm,
often get more mixed practices and they can't be a master of everything. So they
no,
appreciate
yeah,
when somebody can focus on something to help them because they're trying to do so many different species. And so I think
yeah.
those mixed practices gen really, really appreciate the speciality, people that do something special that they can help with.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So it's been a very positive experience. It was hard because I had to build a whole new place. And obviously financially that's difficult. And we've obviously haven't got a pool now. We didn't bother with the pool because of costing. It's just very hard. And I'm down to one treadmill, but I'm very happy with it now.
So did you purpose build on your property your
Yeah,
new
we
place?
did. We've got a big shed, and there was just a room in there that was a gym. They'd made into a gym, and I expanded from there to do the area for the treadmill and gym. And that gym room, I divided it into two, and that's now my human and my canine consult rooms.
Okay.
And it's really nice. So we've got it properly insulated, which is much better than we had in the factory anyway, because it was so hot in summer and so cold in winter there. And we've got reverse cycle throughout. So we've got really good climate control. And so it's been really good.
Yeah. So obviously there
Yeah.
was that financial outlay for that, but in the long
Yes.
term, your overheads are going to decrease. I mean, you're probably
Yes, that's
needing to
right.
pay
Once
off
I've
the,
paid off the build,
yeah,
then it will be all good. I'll be, much,
yeah,
much better off. With that rent that's constantly over your head, it's really hard. And my rent in the time I was there went up 40%. And it just wasn't viable anymore. So I was sort of glad to get out of that situation.
I think people are finding that in like all different countries and all different
Mm,
areas, like the rent is going up, but
yeah.
you can't increase your prices to
Not that
the rate
much.
that your rent's going up. So you sit
No,
in a
you
very tricky
can't.
place.
Yeah, you're definitely limited because my rent was going up 4% a year. There's got to be a point where you have to stop. You can't, but if it keeps going up, where do you go from there? I mean, the prices can't keep going up because it's just, and I don't want to outprice it because I do have a lot of rescue groups, but we offer them a 20% discount.
Mm.
Um, but even people that, just don't have that sort of money, we're really lucky with that because a lot of people know that I work with rescue. And what they do is if their dog passes away or can't use their pack, a lot of people actually donate their packs, and I then pick what client I'm going to give that to.
Yeah.
That's been great. We've done a lot of that, so that works out really well. I never just write it off. I don't say, that's bad luck, you lose your money.
Yeah.
They will actually gift it, and then we'll go, okay, this person can't afford this. This dog really needs it. Let's use that pack for this dog, and it's been great doing that. That's worked out really well, and just helps with that financial stress. Doesn't help with our financial stretch, but it's still being paid for, so it doesn't matter to us. But it's really good to be able to help people and animals that way.
Yeah. Talking about that, so let's chat about the packages and that you have. So you obviously have like once-off treatments, and then for those clients that are coming on a regular basis, talk to me about how you package those and the discount that they get for buying a package.
So generally we have with if it's just treadmill, if I've got a dog on, we do gym with every treadmill session and progressive home exercises as well. We'll have a 6 pack or a 10 pack. So with their 10 pack, they get $6 off per session. So it works out, quite a good discount. We do 20 packs, they get more off because we have some clients that just keep on coming because they're show dogs and agility dogs and things like that. And then we have our physiotherapy packages as well, which we have a 3 or a 6 pack, and they get $15 off per session buying those around about. And with some people, I'll make up a pack because every case is different and everyone needs different things. And I'll sometimes say to people, okay, this is what the plan is. This is what I think is going to work for your dog, because of whatever's going on, and might be some of it might be laser sessions, etc. And then we'll just make up a pack from there. And yeah, I usually tend to give around 15 dollars off for physio consults and about up to $10 off for their treadmill. And it works really well because people keep coming back. I think the packages, even though they're at a lesser price, if people are coming every week, in the end, it works out that you've got that client coming.
Yeah.
It's much better than having nobody there because they can't afford the session by session prices.
I also think it's a commitment that they make. So when
Yeah.
you buy the package, they're making a commitment that I'm
Yeah.
going to use all of these. And I think there's a
Yes.
mental component to it. When they're doing it
Yeah.
on a once a week, it's easy just to miss a week and then miss another week. And
Yes.
so I
Yeah. It
really,
makes a huge difference.
yeah. And then, like you
Mm.
say, once they keep coming, then they just, oh, buy another package. And I think also there is this mental thing about pulling out your credit card every time you go, you know.
Yes, exactly.
Um,
Yeah, it is.
like I think
Yeah.
about my daughter, my daughter's horse riding.
Mm.
I just pay per term. So I pay in the beginning of
Yes.
the term, and
Yes.
it's still
Yeah.
expensive, but it doesn't feel like such a hit when I go there because it's still paid for, you know what I mean? So
It
I think
lasts for
that,
a long, yeah, a time.
yeah,
Yeah, and it,
yeah,
it does feel like that when you have something that's prepaid. And sometimes, people will say to me, "Oh, I must be near the end of my pack," and I'm like, "No, you got another 4 sessions, so 4 weeks to go." And they're like,
yeah,
"Oh, okay, that's good."
yeah, like,
You
yes.
know? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then obviously the benefits for the practice and for you is the cash flow. So people
Mm,
paying upfront really, really, really helps to increase your cash
does.
flow. And also
Yep,
for you to
yep.
plan a little bit is wonderful to be paid for things already before you have to
It
do
is
them.
always very good
Yeah.
when you get
Yeah.
paid because you do have that issue too with certain people, and it's because they're struggling or because there's something else going on in their life and they don't pay. Else you send them an invoice instead of them paying on the day because the card doesn't go through or it's not accepted or whatever. And chasing that up too becomes embarrassing for us and embarrassing for that person because if they really can't pay it, it's just not a very good situation. And then they don't come for weeks because they don't want to come until they've paid that last session. So yeah, it becomes a bit uncomfortable, really. I'm not good with that sort of stuff. I'm terrible asking for money. That's why I said I'm not a good businesswoman. I'll admit it. I usually try to get my girls on the desk because I'm hopeless. Um, because it's hard too because sometimes people, they'll come in a BMW and they live in a very affluent suburb, and then they'll complain. And that, I've actually had people say to me, "Oh, now it's at home, the prices will go down." And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
no, I still have the same costs, outgoings. Yeah, you've still got to pay your electricity, you've still got to pay your staff and
Yeah.
your superannuation and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I've had that a couple of times too, which is I find really uncomfortable, really.
Yeah, no, I think we all do. I mean, that was one of the things I liked when I expanded. I mean, I remember when I
Yes,
used to consult and I used to do everything and take the payment. It was my absolute
yes.
worst thing. And then they'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, like, how much was that? And then I'll be like, oh, I hate talking about this, you know? And
Yeah,
then my
so do
best
I.
thing was when I got a receptionist. Oh my gosh. Well, for two things. One, to answer the telephone, and number
Yes.
two, to take the payments. And you just say,
Yes.
okay, bye, and put them out the
Yes.
door, and then they must do all the
Yeah, they
horrible
can
stuff.
do all
So,
that bit. Yeah, that's
yeah.
right. That's not what I studied for.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I've got another question about working from home. So, I mean,
Mm.
when I first started, I also had a little practice at my house. And, for me, I actually enjoyed it when I look back. But I also remember, not having this ability to be able to sort of dissociate the
Switch
two.
off.
Yeah, and I
Yep.
mean, right now I'm sitting in my house doing this interview, so
Yep.
I work from home,
Yep.
and it's hard sometimes to, it's sometimes nice, and I used to think, oh, it would be quite nice if I had an office, or and
Yeah.
and it was nice to be able to leave home, go to my practice, and then come home again,
Yes.
and then there's
Yeah.
nothing because you tend to you have a practice phone first of all when you do that. When you're at
Yes.
home, it's usually
Yes.
on your own phone, and then the
I have
people
a separate
WhatsApping
phone.
you.
Mm.
Do you? Yeah, that was a good move.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they said like, "Oh, can I have make an appointment?" And then it's like in the evening, and you're about to have dinner, and you're like, "Okay, let me put."
Yes.
And you go down to your office or to your consulting room, and you like book
Yeah.
an appointment. And yeah, so how do you handle that now? Because it's obviously a huge change for you having it at your
Um,
own premises.
Yeah, and it is hard. I do find it hard not to go into the practice to see how things are going when I've got a day off. I'm actually working, I teach Pilates. I've been doing that for 20 something years. So I do that 2 days a week. So I get out of the house. So I've just started doing that at another location. Just so I'm not here all the time. So Mondays and Thursday mornings, I teach Pilates with my humans, and that just gets me out for 2 sessions a week, which I find helps. I'm still having trouble not going into the clinic on my days off, um, and sort of cutting myself off from it. So even though I've got a separate phone in the practice, a lot of my equine clients reach me via my phone.
Mm.
So it's still going on regardless. It is probably hard to switch off, I suppose, but I'm just trying to make things to do when I'm not working, but a lot of it's work anyway because I do all my own bookkeeping and everything. So I'll just have an admin day 1 day a week, and that I try to, yeah, just focus on admin, but and I'm also studying again, so that makes it hard as well. So I'm trying to find this extra time for that. But yeah, I still really like it. I At first I was like, oh, having people at your house, not having your privacy, um, is how is it going to be? But yeah, I'm really liking it because it's in the shed, who it's not in my house itself. I found that makes a big difference because they park over there. They don't come up near the house. Yeah, which is good. So I can, go out and ride my horses and do my thing. Um, and I'll just wave at them up as they go up the driveway, but I don't have to actually talk to anybody.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
staff don't come into the house or anything like that. They respect that
No, well, I have a couple of girls I'm quite close to, so they sometimes have sleepovers and stuff.
boundary.
Have a barbecue or something.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, usually most of my girls can work independently, so they don't need me to help them. Um, that's important to me to have the staff that can work independently and make decisions without me there. Otherwise, it's just constant. But I have got girls that are really good at that now. It took a while to find those girls that I can rely on it and they don't constantly text me or ring me and ask questions. It's like just, make a decision and go with your gut. And then we'll talk about it the next day or when I'm back. So, and they're really good. So I can sort of leave the business to them and I can trust them completely.
If you look at the situation that you have now,
Mm.
the building and everything you did, is there anything that you think, oh, I wish I hadn't have done that. I would like to have done it differently.
No, not really. We do have a severe lack of space. Like, to just for coffee and for, where you want to have something to eat and things like that. But we're just talking about it today, actually having a laugh about it. We don't really care. We don't mind. So once a month we all go out for lunch and talk about things and sort things through. And yeah, no, we're all very happy. So I think it's been quite good. I did get some feedback, when we're making the clinic, building the clinic and stuff to um, try to make it the best we can with what we had. And I'm really happy with it.
If we look back at the previous clinic, and
Yes.
how, everything that you did there, anything that you think there, like that you learned from that situation and that experience that you thought, okay, this is not what I want.
Well, with that, I think I didn't, financial planning was not my thing. I borrowed money for that initially and just went, that's it, this is what I want, bang, 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 bang. Um, and then realized the income from animals was not going to even cover my rent. So that was a bit of a wow, this is a
Yeah.
bit scary because I'd worked in human practice for so long. I think I assumed it was going to build as quick as a human practice, and it doesn't. I've decided it does take time,
Mm.
especially to get the vets and the referrals, things like that. So I think I would take it slowly if I did it again. So what I ended up doing was building an extra room for humans and building a Pilates studio upstairs in the
Okay.
factory. Without the human staff, I probably wouldn't have survived where I was. So I think I overcommitted.
Okay.
Um, and we did get really busy, but it just takes time. So I
Yeah.
would say don't overcommit too early. Really plan and really do your finances to make sure you're going to be able to cover the costing and the repayments and like any small business, I suppose, it's really hard. And don't think you're going to be rich.
I think there's such a balance between the income, the overheads, and like especially the overhead, the staff. Because if you think
Mm,
about it, in a human practice, you don't need that many people. But whereas
no.
with the animals, you need more people,
You
right?
do. Yeah, yeah.
And for some reason, pet owners like to compare. Only in certain circumstances do they like to compare. Um,
Yeah.
they like to compare like what it costs for people and what it costs for animals.
Yes.
And if
Yes.
I even look at veterinary as a field, if you have to go have a various hysterectomy for a dog compared to a various hysterectomy for a person, I mean, you can't even
Yes.
compare the fees, but the pet owners
No.
will complain about those
Yes.
fees
Yeah.
that the vet is charging,
Yeah.
and I mean, it would if that was for a person, they'd be like, "What? What's wrong? That can't be right." So I
Yeah.
think there's
Yeah.
we are already in a tricky position because
Yeah.
in order for it to be sustainable, and I think there is this balance, and maybe this is where where you just expanded and expanded. You have to find this balance between what you're charging that is covering your overheads, including your staff and repayments of loans, to how many hours you're working. Because what tends to happen in a lot of
Yeah.
practices is that you're not making it. So then you just increase your hours and you add another room
Yep.
and you
And you
try and do
work and you
more and
work
more
and you
and
work.
more. And you
Yeah.
think, if I do more, I can earn more and then I can pay for all
Yeah.
these things. But usually with the more, it usually comes more
Mm.
staff. So there is a bit more overhead, but then also
Yeah.
comes burnout and stress. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
where then you then lose the enjoyment factor of what
Yeah.
of doing. I mean, because like we love what we do, but when you're
Mm.
working crazy hours and just juggling so many balls and being
Yeah.
stressed every single month that you can't pay your overheads, then it starts
Yeah.
to become less fun.
Yeah, it's a horrible feeling. There's nothing worse, and the stress just sort of builds up and builds up. And I've got to that point before when I was in the factory where I just almost had a breakdown. I was just it was just too much. And I was working ridiculous hours because I had to be available for everybody because I needed the income. So,
Mm.
I made myself available. So I've worked 6 days a week for many, many years, and that's just the way it was, and that's just the way I've been programmed. Um, but doing it in your own business, oh, so much harder. You don't realize when you're working for somebody.
Mm.
You can just walk away. And then, so yeah, the financial load can just become way too much, and it's not worth it. It's not worth getting into that sort of situation where
Mm.
you can be comfortable. You just got to start small, I think.
Mm.
And yeah, as you said, when you get busier, it doesn't mean you're covering your overheads, because then you have more staff, then you have more outgoings, and then your rent's going up, everything else is going up, the electricity goes up, our body corporate goes up, that there's so many different situations people are in, that we've just got to make sure that we budget correctly and really look at the outgoings, because sometimes you miss things,
Mm.
and you just don't consider certain things, and that adds up. It all adds up. So, your work cover, insurance, and your own insurance, and that's a big thing too. Insurance is so important. Um, and if staff let you down, you train somebody. You spend so much on training people because you have them on. You're paying them, but they don't know the job, so you're paying somebody else to teach them or yourself to teach them, and then that staff member moves on, you've lost all that money and you've got to start again. I
Mm.
think all these things you don't consider until you have your own business, and then you realize what it costs mentally as well as financially.
Yeah, so I think one of the things when I think about practice, and this is something that
Mm,
I didn't even think about when I first started my
mm,
practice,
yeah.
I just I wanted the toys and I wanted to be able to treat the
Yep.
patients
Oh,
and get
yes,
the
of course.
results and I
Yeah.
and I also wasn't like great. I became better like at the business side of things, but in the beginning I didn't even think about it. All I wanted to do was break even at the end of the month. Like I
Yes.
just
Yeah.
wanted to
I
be
was
able
the
to pay
same.
for everything.
Yeah.
And I was happy if I was paying
Yep.
myself a salary. But when you think about it, right, if you're the business owner, if you're taking all the risk, you're taking all the stress, you're taking all the sleepless nights, you're the one doing the extra hours, holding all of that, it's not really beneficial for you if you're
No.
just getting a salary like everybody else. You need to be making profits in your practice. So
Yep.
otherwise, you might as well
Exactly.
just be employed by somebody else. So it's like you just created a job for yourself. Like that's always
Yeah.
good. If if you're just earning the salary. And I think that that's the tricky situation that a lot of us are in. Like we tend to
Yeah.
plan like, oh, let's just cover the overheads. But yeah, we do need to make
Yeah.
profit. Even if it's a small amount, you need to have
Mm,
profit so that at the end of the month, you're
mm.
getting something extra. And then also, at some stage, if you want to exit and you want to sell your practice, then the
Yeah.
profit is what people are looking at, right? If you're
Yeah,
like
that's
selling one
right.
that's just
Yeah.
breaking even and it needs you to work there 6 days a week, someone's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, then the practice is not worth as much to sell it. So I think that that's a mind shift that a lot of us vet rehabbers need to
Mm.
make. And because we're not
Yes.
business
Yeah.
people, we didn't go into this because we were business
No.
minded, right? We went in
No,
because we love
exactly.
animals. So
Maybe
yeah,
we should do that as part of our training. Maybe business training should be involved.
we really should. But
It would be really good. I'm sure with chiropractic, at least human chiropractic, they do a whole year um of marketing and business.
yeah,
We don't.
no.
I wish
Listen,
I'd
and
known what I know now.
yeah, and that's the problem is that you take so
Yeah,
many years, you go through so
learn.
many years
Mm.
of just trial and error or making the mistakes. So you pay all the
Yes,
school
yeah,
fees, and then like
yeah,
15 years down the line, you're like,
yeah.
okay, now I know a better way to do this, but you've paid all the school fees. Imagine if you knew in the beginning
Yeah,
and you could just be doing
yeah,
better from the beginning.
yeah.
But at vet school, we also didn't learn anything. I remember we had like one semester and they just taught us what's gross profit, like definition. What's net profit, definition. Like literally that was it. Like and I mean
Uh,
it's a problem in veterinary because there's so
yeah,
many vets that don't really know how to run
have
businesses.
any
And you have
idea?
to employ
Yeah,
somebody. You have to employ a manager who knows how to do
to
it so that you
yeah.
and most of us, to be honest, don't want to run the business. We just want to play with the animals and treat the
Play with
animals
that's
better.
exactly. And
Yeah.
that's the hard part, because then you have to be making a profit to be able to pay an accountant or a bookkeeper. Um, And those staff too, I mean, accountancy can be so expensive. They make a lot more than we do.
Yeah,
So those
yeah,
sort of things you've got to consider as well when you go into your business, unless you're going to do everything yourself, which is just so time consuming.
yeah.
And business in itself, just treating clients is time consuming enough. Um, trying to do everything else, it's just impossible, really. You can't do
It is.
everything.
You
Yeah.
can't. You can't.
No.
You do need to delegate. You know, I think
Yes.
one thing that I learned very, very quickly was I wrote down all the things that I do in my practice,
Yep.
all the things I have to do. And in all the things,
Yep.
there are often a lot of things that you do that you don't really have to do them.
Need to do.
So
Yes.
I highlighted all the ones I have to do. Okay, like consulting, like I was the only person, so that
Yeah.
has to be me. And then all the other things that I was doing that I didn't have to do, I delegated. And then
Yes.
as I got even like more advanced in my practice, then I looked at the things that I have to do and the things that I don't enjoy doing. And then I found somebody else to do those things. So then I was just doing the things that
Yeah.
I
That's a good idea. Yes.
yeah,
And I think I do too much because I'm a bit of a clean freak too. So I'll go in the practice and I'll see dirt or I'll see, something that's not quite right and I'll have to clean it because I can't help myself. I always say to my girls, I want this practice to be as clean as a human practice. Just
yeah,
because it's animals doesn't mean you let it get dirty. I really want it clean. And
yeah.
sometimes my idea of clean's probably a bit over the top.
It's always good to have a person like that in your practice. So yeah,
Yes, yeah, yeah,
you
I'm
need
that
one
person,
clean freak.
unfortunately. Yeah.
Jodie, it's been so lovely chatting to you, and thank you for sharing everything about your practice. And just wishing you all the best going forward with
Thank you.
everything at your house. And hopefully things go from strength to strength. And just remember our conversation. You don't necessarily need
No,
to expand. I know you don't have space for that
no,
kitchen or whatever. I was actually
anything like
thinking
that.
you
Yeah.
should just build a veranda off one of the things and
Yeah.
have a little outside area, right? To eat and make coffee and
It's
whatever. Something that,
it's a
yeah,
bit
but
cold at the moment.
yeah, it is. But don't be tempted. Don't be tempted to
Oh, no, no,
expand.
no, I won't. I won't. No, I'm very happy with it the way it is. It's very nice little
Yeah,
clinic, just the way I like it.
lovely. Love it. Thank you for your time, Jodie. Great chatting.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the subscribe button so you get notified every time I load a new podcast. I'm here every week talking to vet rehab therapists from all over the world about all things vet rehab. A big thanks to our sponsor, Paw Prosper. Their sponsorship allows us to be able to give this podcast to you for free. So go and check them out at pawprosper.com. And also don't forget to bookmark the next Vet Rehab Summit on Saturday, the 14th of November, 2026. Come and be a part of the world's largest online veterinary rehabilitation conference created specifically for you, the vet rehabber community. Online Pet Health members get VIP complimentary access to the Vet Rehab Summit. For more information about continuing education for vet rehabbers, you can go to onlinepethealth.com.